traders? How we all doing today? Welcome back and happy Money Monday! It is Money Monday, ladies and gentlemen. April 25th, 2022, and this is officially, guys, the very last week of April. We officially have 5 trading days to go, guys. So let's make it the best 5 trading days of April, and let's make today the best Money Monday of April. So what's up? I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys are all set, ready to rock and roll for an amazing week, an amazing day full of brand new opportunities and brand new profits in the market. So ladies and gentlemen, traders inside the chat, hit me with a big old good morning. How we all doing? Are we fired up? Are we fired up today? Are we motivated? Are we ready to go? Are we ready to hit it hard in the market? Are we tired? What's going on, guys? What's up, Jake Lakey, Trader Adam, Steve, Arlene, Emmy, AJ Trends, Trader Girl, Beth, Kits King, Crypto Cole. What's up, buddy? Good morning, team. Good morning. Good morning. Yo, Harvey, what's going on, my man? Good morning. Happy Money Monday. Mr. Angel's in chat. Jay Das, he is fired up. He is ready to go. He is ready to make it happen. So that's what I'm talking about. Woo, what? That's what I'm talking about. I can't even talk today. I'm so fired up. My mind's going a million miles an hour because I am ready to hit it hard with you guys. I am ready to lock in some amazing profits, and I am ready to end the month of April on a strong and positive note. Dantino, buddy, what's up, Trader King? Barbie, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, traders over on YouTube, hit me with a big old good morning as well. Benjamin, Joseph, Jack, what's going on? Mr. Ed Nevis, repping ADT over the weekend. What's up, buddy? How we doing this morning? Stock Talk, Luxury Trims, Ryan, John, Shane, Shelby. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Money Monday. I hope you guys are fired up. We're gonna start doing something a little new, all right? So every single morning, what I wanna do is I wanna start recognizing our trader of the day. What do I mean, the trader of the day? Well, every single day in our morning stock newsletter, I will be highlighting and recognizing our top trader of the prior day. So we're gonna do that every single day. Every week, I'm gonna highlight our top trader of the prior week. And then at the end of the month, I'm gonna highlight our top trader inside a chat for the month. So let's go ahead, team. Let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and dive into it. We're gonna start with our morning stock newsletter. Go ahead and break everything down. What's going on this week? What can we expect this week in the market? There's a lot of stuff going on, guys. And what can we expect today in the market? You know, what's going on? What can we look to see take place? How can we look to lock in some profits, not only today, but over the duration of the week as well, guys? So again, good morning. Happy Money Monday, traders. I hope everybody had a fantastic, I don't even know why that says Easter weekend. Is this the right newsletter? It is. That is so weird. I did not put that in there. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and that you're fired up for a great day ahead. Today marks the start of a brand new day and a brand new week full of brand new opportunities. So team, regardless of what happened last week, a great green week, a really bad red week, regardless of what happened, take this as an opportunity to wipe the slate clean, right? If you had a bad week, it's a brand new week, guys. That's in the past. If you had a great profitable week, leave it in the past. The last thing you want to do is bring that maybe cockiness over, that overconfidence, arrogance, whatever the case is. We know how we get when we have big days in the market, when we have big weeks. Sometimes we get a little over the top. We think we're the best, nothing can stop us. We are just invincible. That is false. The market will humble you very, very quick. So back to the basics every single day. We're always wiping that slate clean. It's a brand new day full of brand new opportunities, and we're always sticking to the basics, making sure we're disciplined, patience, building those plans, getting prepared, trading only the A+ setups, and making it happen today, team. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it today. Let's not waste any time. Yesterday's or Friday's top trader of the day inside a chat was Mr. Corey. Yes, locking in over $500 on a Friday between his 2 accounts, his main account and his small options account. Corey locking in $500 on a Friday. Good job and good work. Last week's trader of the week, team. All right, I did not put this in the morning newsletter. It should be in there. I will add it to the morning newsletter, right? Last week's trader of the week. Who do you think it is? It's Dougie. It is Dougie. Dougie Fresh is our top trader of the week. And why is Mr. Dougie the top trader of the week. Well, Mr. Dougie took a step back from a real account. He was paper trading for a week or two, getting back to the basics, focusing on his rules, focusing on his plan, rebuilding his confidence, rebuilding his consistency. Last week, it looked like Dougie was back in his real account, and he crushed it every single day, posting up amazing, consistent profits in Profits Chat, and that stands out to me. He was willing to make that sacrifice, to take a step back, to paper trade for a week or two, to get back to the basics, to really hone in on his skill set, to rebuild his confidence, to open that account back up last week, and to crush it every single day with disciplined, consistent profits, and that really stood out to me. So Dougie, good job. I love the mindset. I love exactly what you did, taking that step back, making that small sacrifice, and coming out of the gate strong last week. Congratulations. Way to go, and keep up the amazing work. And that goes for everybody inside of chats, and that goes for everybody over on YouTube. Keep up the awesome work. You could be our top trader of the day, the top trader of the week, or the top trader of the month. And I want to make sure that I'm recognizing you guys for your hard work. So good job, keep it up, and let's make today an even better day, team. All right, so Dow futures falling more than 200 points as the April sell-off in the markets continue. The Qs right now down about 2 points. The SPY right now down about 3 points at this point in time. So futures currently gapping down. We'll talk about what we can expect in the market today, the market this week, and what I think is going to take place not only today, but this week, in the next couple of weeks as well. There's a lot of stuff happening, and there's so many variables that could really throw this market off, guys. So we have to make sure that we're prepared, we understand what's going on, and what we can do to lock in profits during these volatile times. I love volatility, guys, and if volatility scares you, let's get you guys comfortable with volatility, because this is where we can make some big time profits to build up a nice little stash of cash. So when and if we see a possible recession or the markets continue in the dump, we are ready to buy. If we missed COVID, if you guys weren't around for 08, you missed the crash of COVID, that was scary. You're waiting for your next best opportunity to build a long-term portfolio. That could be right around the corner, guys. So I want to get you guys prepared. I want you guys ready to be able to buy some of these amazing names very, very cheap. And I'm excited to see what the next 12 to 18 months has in store. So stocks with news today. We have CANG declaring a special dividend, authorizing 50 million share repurchase program. CANG is a stock that we're going to dissect and we're going to discuss. There is news. ARDX, another stock with news, announcing FDA plan to convene advisory committee. NKTX, one of the best press releases today. We are going to dissect the crap out of the stock. Currently, the number one top gainer in the market is NKTX, announcing preliminary dose finding data for 2 lead engineered natural killer cell programs. So positive preliminary data. Very good press release there. ERYP. Shares are trading higher after the company announced it has sold U.S. cell therapy manufacturing facility to Catalent for $44.5 million. We'll take a look at ERYP. SBFN. Sunshine Biopharma files a patent application. So we have news there. We'll check it out. And then lastly, QNRX announcing FDA clearance. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks with good press releases. These stocks do have potential today, and we will absolutely dissect them. If you guys are inside a chat, you guys do get access to the morning stock newsletter. So scroll on down to get your pre-market gappers, prior day top gainers. You guys always want to be watching these prior day top gainers, because if these top stocks today with news don't do anything, where do traders go? They go back to stocks they already know. What do they know? Stocks that have moved Friday, last Thursday, last week, the week before. Momentum trades, prior day movers. So check out those prior day top gainers, get prepared. And this week is a big week in the market. We have big earnings this week. All the big names: Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, PayPal, Qualcomm, Twitter, Apple, Amazon, Roku, Intel. My goodness, team, look at these earnings this week. This is going to bring a lot of volatility in the market. If these companies report great earnings, we could see these markets stabilize and start to move back higher slightly, retest some of last week's levels before that initial sell-off. If these companies bomb on their earnings and they are not all that great, which I doubt it, and I have a couple reasons why, and we can discuss that later today. If these companies bomb their earnings, watch for the markets to move down to the 415, 410 level. If these earnings are bad, right? So there's going to be a lot of volatility. There's already a lot of volatility in the market from what the Fed had to say last week. And now with earnings is going to bring in even more volatility. So this is going to be one wild week. So strap in, right? Put that seatbelt on, get locked in, get ready to go, because it's going to be a fun, crazy, wild week. And when it's fun, crazy, and wild, there is so much opportunity to lock in some big time profits, traders. All right, so let's go ahead and dissect these stocks with news. We got NKTX, number one on the leaderboard. This stock right now currently up 90% on the day. Good press release, trading 11 million shares on average. This stock trades 211,000 shares. So we have the high relative volume. We got a nice big gap up, 19 million in flow. Before I start dissecting these stocks, doing this due diligence, getting you guys prepared, I want to talk a second about market conditions. Okay, what did we notice last week with penny stocks? For the most part, pretty consistently, we had stocks with great news. We had stocks gapping up, decent pre-market activity. Markets would open. A lot of these stocks would rip and run, right? Go absolutely parabolic and bananas to the upside. They would do pretty well out of the gate. 10:30, 11 o'clock, what happens? A lot of these stocks hitting those higher days, selling off and fading down all freaking day. Crapped out after an hour. Exactly, Steve. So it's always important to understand what market conditions are. Now, last week's last week, right? This is a brand new day. It's a brand new week. Anything can happen, but it's very, very important to identify what those market conditions were just in case we see those bleed into this week. So again, could we see some great action out of the gate? Let's check it out. Let's see. You know, what happened last week? You know, 30 minutes in, an hour and a half, everything would fade and fall. All day faders. So what can you do? Thinking, what if those market conditions carry into this week? Well, definitely look to go long out of the gate. You see a good setup, a good trade, a good opportunity right out of the gate. Look to take it long, because we saw some great action out of the gate last week. And then when we see those stocks starting to sell off and get nasty, that's when you want to be out of that long position thinking, I want to short the rest of the day, because that's what stocks did last week. They would dump, dump, dump all day faders. So you can definitely make money to the short side. What's something else we noticed last week as well? A lot of rug pulls, tons of rug pulls, tons of false breakouts, tons of false moves, right? There were so many great setups that would attempt the break, that would attempt the setup. Everything's looking good. Criteria is being met, and then boom, nasty rug pull, big dump on off. So be mindful, be just again mindful about that, guys. I do not want you guys being aggressive, getting into a trade, and then it be some nasty rug pull and it starts dumping and you take in a necessary loss. So be patient. Really make sure you're building those plans. Really make sure that you're positioned correctly. When the right trade presents itself, make it happen. But don't chase stocks. Don't overtrade. It's all about quality versus quantity. Keep it simple. Be disciplined. Be patient, right? Let's identify the best setups. Let's get an idea of what market conditions are like, and then let's make it happen, right? It's all about the best of the best setups. It takes one great trade a day to make your day, to make your week. Shit, sometimes to make your month if you do it right. So just have the right mindset. Do not be aggressive. Do not chase stocks. The last thing I want you guys doing is buying these stocks at high of day and then just watching it dump all day and you do nothing about it and just watch that negative profit increase. Make sure you make it happen, have the right mindset, and get prepared, and that's what we're doing this morning. So NKTX, okay, I like this stock. It has support back down at 1275. Top resistance, 1582. All right, so if NKTX can break that 1582 level, we can see this rip and run up to that 200-day moving average of 1878. So that's going to be our top target today, is that 200 SMA, right around that 1895 actually. It's 1895 here on NKTX, 1895. And again, bottom support right now at this point in time is going to be back down at 1275. Okay, so out of the gate, we could expect a washout long maybe. If this just dumps on off to that 1275, maybe we got a quick dip buy for a washout long. Or what if it just breaks over pre-market highs? What if it's a nice gap and go setup? Well, let the stock break out. Let it break those pre-market highs. Let the thing pull back and retest those pre-market highs, pre-market resistance as support. And if it's a nice break and retest, Then let's go long up to that 1875. Okay, so we have some potential and some opportunity today with NKTX, but be very, very patient, right? The last thing I want you guys doing is jumping in right out of the gate and seeing this thing dump on off back down to 1275. We know exactly where we could see the stock go. Now we just need a reason to enter. And right now we don't have a reason. We need a lot of data that suggests, hey, if you buy right now, there's an 80% chance that I move higher. We need those probabilities in our favor. We need those A+ setups. So let's wait for this to give us that really nice setup here on NKTX. And this stock does have a lot of great potential today. ARDX this morning dropping a press release announcing an FDA plan to convene advisory committee. ARDX right now is currently number 5 on the leaderboard, gapping up 33% at this point in time, trading 14 million shares. On average, we trade just shy of 3, so we have great volume. It's a larger float stock, but it's a cheap stock. It's $1, right? It's $1. So that float, definitely something to be mindful of, but it's not going to really take a lot to get this thing going, all right? We do have some light support. We're trying to really hold above this 99-cent to $1 level, okay? Now, if we can hold that 99 cents to $1, and we could see that slight downtrend broken here on ARDX, we can see this thing back up to possibly retest that pre-market high of 116. Now, if ARDX breaks that pre-market high of 116, we could see it up to the 200-day moving average of 138. Now, if we start cracking that 99-cent level to $1 and we cannot hold and we cannot break that downtrend, you can see this back down towards around 90 cents on ARDX. All right, guys, so we're watching ARDX. Definitely a top stock. As long as we don't crack below 99 cents and we can hold above this $1 mark, we could definitely see this back up towards around 116 and then 137 on ARDX. So definitely a top stock that I think we should be watching today. ERYP number 3 on the leaderboard. ERYP. What was that press release again? That, oh, it sold its US therapy manufacturing facility for $44 million. ERYP number 3 on the leaderboard, currently gapping up 50%. 7 million shares traded today. On average, 100,000. So we have the volume, we have good news, gapping up 50%. We could absolutely see the stock go on a nice little move today. So where is our current levels of support and resistance? Well, the first level I'm going to mark up is that 200-day moving average at 345. That's going to be a very tough level of resistance here on ERYP. Right now, we can see we have some support on the daily right around 204. We have some good resistance right around 204 as well. And it's $2 psychological resistance. So I would say 2 to 204 resistance at this point in time on ERYP. If we break that level, we could absolutely see it rip back up towards around that 250 mark, retest that high, up to 3 and maybe even 345 to hit and to test that 200-day moving average. It's a low float stock. It's 29 million in float. We know this stock could indeed rip and run today, but first things first, breaking and staying above that 2 to 204, then setting up for that potential run up into the 250s, $3 region, and possibly even 345. Bottom support right now, I would say right around 166. We look at that daily chart, 166 is a bounce level. It's right around the 50 SMA as well. And it's that nice little pre-market low at 166. So right now, light support, 166 on ERYP. You could throw a little bit of a downtrend on the stock if you wanted to, and you could say like, hey, it's actually starting to break this downtrend, right? Putting in this nice little higher low, a little bit of a boom, boom, bang setup, starting to see a little bit of volume move in, breaking the downtrend, trying to break above that VWAP. Right now, ERYP should definitely be a stock that we're watching right out of the gate as we are trying to get above that VWAP, breaking that downtrend, seeing a little bit of volume move in off of this nice higher low. This could be the break that starts getting the stock going right at 930 to get that nice break and hold over 2 to 204 and then possibly up towards around 250. So ERYP, definitely a top stock we should be watching today. CANG. This was the stock that declared a special dividend, and they also authorized a 50 million share repurchase program. But here's the thing, CANG, right? This daily chart is very ugly. Number one, the daily chart looks like crap. This stock barely moves. I mean, the last time we've seen the stock really move was back in 2021, right? When this stock gapped up to 10 and ran to 1860. But since then, there's not really been a lot of times that the stock's had a decent little green day, right? Anytime you see a decent little green day, you see red following, red following, red following. It's just in one big, strong downtrend. And when we really look at CANG here in pre-market, it just doesn't really stand out to me, right? The volume today is 1 million. On average, we trade 100,000 shares. So, I mean, we have the volume. It's a nice medium float, right? 76 million in float. It's up 14%. But just looking at this chart, it doesn't really look all that appealing. So it's definitely not a stock from a technical perspective that really stands out to me that screams, hey, I'm going to rip and run out of the gate. Could it? Absolutely. So it's worth getting prepared, but we're trying to eliminate the noise, right? We're trying to look at these 6, 7, 8 stocks and find 2 or 3 that just look really good, that have the best potential right at 930. And it's obvious, it's very clear that CANG just isn't that stock that looks the best. But we do have 267 support at this point in time. So if we can hold 267, maybe we see some action. So if we hold 267, maybe break the downtrend, we'll shift our focus back over to CANG, see if there's any opportunity, and we'll make it happen. But right now, add it to a back burner list, guys. There's definitely some better opportunity out here today. And we're not even done. We got to talk about the SPY. We got to talk about the Qs. We got to talk about Twitter, right? There's still a lot to talk about in the next 9 minutes. SBFM, another stock with some news. They filed the patent application. SBFM is a prior runner, right? This stock has ripped consistently in the past, and it's hold its gains, relatively well. So SBFM right now, definitely a top stock to be watching. Currently up 27%. It is trading 5 million shares. However, on average, it trades just about 10 million. So we still have some time to see this surpass the average volume, which I think today we're definitely going to surpass that with no issues. Nice low flow stock, 6 million in flow. And I remember this stock has ripped and ran in the past. And we know that this stock can move because it has a 6 million in flow, okay? $4 support at this point in time, 4 to 408 support, with top resistance being up around, I would say right around that 200-day moving average, guys. That's going to be one of the strongest levels of resistance for a lot of stocks, is going to be that 200 SMA. And that 200 SMA also lines up with some prior spiking highs and some lower days. So I would say top target today on SBFM would be right around 483 to $5. Now, if it ever starts breaking that 483 and $5, then it could really start moving back up towards around 592 on SBFM. But right now at this point in time, we need to see it actually breaking that 483 to $5. So what would I expect? As long as we hold above 408 and we set up and there's some opportunity, we know we could see it up at 483, maybe $5. That's our first level to lock in some profits here on SBFM. Now, if it really starts breaking on out, then we know it has some great potential to like 560, 589, so on and so forth. But first things first, right? We need to see it set up, good opportunity. Maybe it sets up above that $4 level. We can grab that long up to 483 and then see what takes place at that point in time. But right now, SBFM, it is gapping up. We just don't have the volume. Nice low flow stock, pretty decent news. Definitely a stock that we should be watching today at this point in time. Current and light support being right around that 4 to 408 with top resistance up towards around 483. CENN has no news, but I saw a lot of traders this morning talking about CENN, right? Why is the stock moving? I would say it's because we have earnings tonight. That's what I would think, right? The stock is moving ahead of earnings. That's what I would think. We do have earnings tonight on CENN. There is some decent volume on CENN, right? We're trading 4 million shares. On average, we trade 10 million shares. So again, we don't quite have the volume yet, but it's not like we really have that news to bring in that activity, to bring in that attention. Okay, so it is a very large float stock. It's 170 million in float. Definitely going to take a lot to get this thing going. There's no strong catalyst. There's no credible news this morning. The only reason I think it's currently moving is we have earnings tonight, and every now and then we see stocks move ahead of earnings. So if you're looking at CENN, just be mindful that the only reason it's moving is these earnings that are going to be released tonight. 182 bottom support at this point in time with 206 top resistance. Now, if we ever break 206, we could see it up towards around 222. But I would like to be in well before 206, well before 222, if there's a reason to get involved here. with CENN. So if we can hold above that 182 level, and again, it sets up and we get that opportunity, what we're waiting for, right? Put those odds in our favor. We could at least see it back up towards around 206. And if it ever breaks 206, then our next target would be 222. Again, right now, bottom support, 182 on CENN. If we lose that 182 level of support, we do have room back down towards around 154 here on CENN. QNRX is another stock with news today, announcing FDA clearance on QNRX. But right now, this stock is doing absolutely nothing at this point in time. It's very clear that this is definitely not a stock that we want to put too much focus on right out of the gate. There is some opportunity, but just looking at the chart, not too clean, not too consistent. It is up 27%. We are trading 6 million shares. On average, we trade 250,000. So, I mean, we have the volume, right? We are gapping up. We have the news, but it's clear that all of the activity, all of the focus in the market is not with QNRX right now. That's our job. We have 10 stocks moving, but there's going to be 1 or 2 stocks that really have a majority of the focus, where a majority of traders are currently at, right? Volume equals activity, and activity equals profit, right? We identify the stocks based on volume, but we can really tell where traders are at by how active the stock is. And when the stock is active and it's moving, there's opportunity to lock in profit. So what 2 stocks do you guys think have that attention, that have the majority of the focus right now at this point in time? If I had to choose 2 stocks that I think have a majority of the focus, I would say definitely NXTX, 110%, 110%. This is where a majority of the volume and the focus currently is. And then it's a little bit of a toss-up. I would say ARDX has some attention. It has some focus. It's really trying to bounce off that $1 level. So that's a stock that I think we should be watching out of the gate. And then ERYP, right? We are breaking the downtrend. We are seeing some volume move in. There is a nice technical formation with ERYP. So this is a stock that could move right out of the gate. So those would be my top 3 that I would pick. What are you guys thinking inside the chat? What stocks do you think have the best potential for today, right? Do you think it's ARDX, NKTX, ERYP? Do you think it's CANG, SBFM, CENN, or QNRX? What do you guys think are the top 2 to 3 stocks to be watching right at 9:30? And while you guys post those up, the SPY, right? Gapping down, right? Why is the SPY even gapping down? Well, the Fed last week basically said we don't have inflation under control, right? We don't think inflation's peaked. We actually don't know if inflation has peaked. And everybody's like, yo, you're the Fed. You should know these things. And the Fed's like, we just don't know. The markets did not like that. Now, there's a lot of other issues as well. Russia, Ukraine, supply chain issues, right? There's just so many variables right now at this point in time. So again, guys, we got to play it each and every day, see what's going on. But this is what drove the markets down last week, was just the Fed saying, we don't know where inflation's going. We don't know if it's peaked. And everybody's like, you're supposed to know this, Fed. You're the smartest people in the world. Come on now, what's going on? So what we're looking for in the SPY, okay, we have a couple levels. You have Friday's close, 426.04 as resistance. And then you have that low before we had a pretty strong bounce on Friday at 426.94. So those are going to be our 2 levels of resistance on the SPY. And all we do is wait to see what takes place at one of those levels of resistance. If we get a bearish setup and this chart is screaming go short, let's go short. Where could we see it come back down to? Pre-market lows, 421.17 and then 420.69. But if we do indeed start breaking and holding some of those levels from last week and we look good and the chart's screaming go long, we could see a little short-term bounce on up. I would expect to see little bounces before the market keeps dumping on back down. So if that does take place and we are breaking and holding above that 427 and we're looking to go long, we could see it back up towards around that 429.74, and that's realistic. So either way you look at the SPY, if we get a long setup, there's opportunity to the long side. If we see this set up and it's screaming short me, we have some great opportunity to the short side. We're just getting prepared. We're marking up our levels, right? And when the chart says trade me, long or short, we simply build a plan, get prepared, react, and lock in some profits. We crushed it Thursday. We crushed it Friday. Thursday, targets were hit. Friday, targets were hit. I mean, absolutely on fire with the SPY over the last 2 days. So let's make it happen once again today. We are going to be watching Twitter above $50.74. As long as Twitter can stay above that 200-day moving average of 50.74, we can see this move back up towards around that prior daily high of 54.59. So we're watching Twitter. I am going to be watching Netflix today above 212.17. And a lot of my focus, to be completely honest with you, is going to be on the SPY. Okay, guys, we are all set, ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and put NXTX up on the live stream. This is the #1 stock that we'll be watching right out of the gate. I would say followed by ARDX above $1, and then maybe ERYP as we just broke the downtrend. We're above that VWAP, and we have some potential back up to 204. Anything over 204, we can see the stock up towards around $2.50. ERYP, that is it, ERYP. ARDX, another top stock that I want to be watching right out of the gate. And then NXTX, again, this stock does have support back down at 1275 or 1330. It could be that 1275 level or that spiking high at 1330 here on NXTX. Does anyone know if he's going to buy anything or just talk? Thomas, we get you prepared in the mornings, okay? If there's a reason to buy something, we will absolutely get involved, okay? If this is your first time to the stream, we're getting you prepared in the morning, breaking everything down. It's all about preparation. If you're just looking to buy something, there's a lot of great alert services out there that'll just tell you to buy and sell, okay? If you're willing to learn what it takes to trade stocks consistently, why we're trading, what stocks we're looking at, and why, this is definitely the place to be. So as soon as we see something set up and there's an opportunity in front of us to lock in some profits, we will absolutely get prepared and we will make it happen. But right now it's a game of patience. Are the markets going to work and move like the markets moved last week, where we get those quick spikes and those rips and runs the first 30 to 45 minutes, followed by an all-day fade and fall? What's going to happen? All right, what stock is going to steal the focus? NKTX, yes, NKTX. Again, my dyslexia can be really bad sometimes. So if I'm saying NXTX, just know I mean NKTX. You guys know I deal with my dyslexia pretty bad. So again, I just want to break it down as far as what to expect when we're here on these morning streams and pre-market, getting you guys prepared, right? It's more education than anything. Getting you guys prepared, educated, why stocks are moving, why we're looking at stocks, doing that due diligence, marking up these levels of support and resistance. Again, really just a solid morning of preparation. And now, market's live. Now we're ready to make it happen. We just need to sit back and be patient and identify the best setup and the best opportunity. Right now, NKTX is the #1 stock at this point in time. So right now, ARDX is trying to get a little bit of a bounce off $1 here. NKTX, nice spike right up into that pre-market resistance. Expect to see it pull back a little bit. There's one of two things that we could do with NKTX, right? Option one is wait for the stock to break that high a day, right? Right around $16. Wait for the stock to break that high a day, pull back and retest. And if it's a nice strong break, a healthy retest, that could be the opportunity to get long up to $18.95. But as we're right under resistance, I don't suggest buying a stock right at resistance. It does have potential to fall back down towards around $13.35, right? So support's all the way back down at $13.35 at this point in time. And then SBFM has room to that 1483. That is your 200-day moving average. So again, I would not be looking to chase this this close to resistance, right? We're about 30 cents away from resistance. We are 50 cents away from support, right? So if you know you buy right here, you have room 30 cents to the upside. But where's support? It's 50 cents away. Is that good risk reward? Is that a good trade? It's not. It is not. CENN, nothing happening there. QNRX, nothing happening there. But SBFM, let's definitely keep an eye on that. ARDX, we are going to keep an eye on this as it is trying to get some action here. And then we're waiting for NKTX to pull on back, maybe down towards around this 1330 level, and see if it sets up. You can put a little bit of a trend line off these pre-market lows, and let's see if we ever come down to retest and validate this trend line as well on NKTX. And then ERYP right now, it is testing that downtrend. So we broke that downtrend in pre-market. Nice little rip on up to 196. We are now dumping on off, right? We are pulling back, but we are testing that downtrend resistance as downtrend support. So we'll keep this one on watch around that 180 level. But right now it's clear that the number one stock that we should all be watching is NKTX. The Qs just got rejected off Friday's close of 325.40. So that blue line you guys see is the Qs Friday's close, right? So if we do not break that level, if we continue to get rejected off Friday's close, we can see this down at 318 here on the Qs. So we're absolutely watching that. The SPY's close is still about $3 away. So we have some time there. Twitter. All right, if you guys are watching Twitter, as long as Twitter can stay above that 50, 70 level, like right around 50, 70, we do have potential back to 54.50 today on Twitter. So watch this one around this 50, 70 level here on Twitter. And if this sets up at some point and we get a break over the open of 51.05, we could start to see this thing go back up to 51.98, retest those pre-market highs, and then that daily high right around 54.50 there on Twitter. NKTX, we're just going to wait for this thing to come back down towards around that 1335 level, see if old resistance can hold as support. And we have this trend line right around that level as well. So this is the number one stock that I'm currently watching is NKTX. NKTX, guys. If we were to grab some entries around 1330, where would we want to put stops? You know, underneath that level of support, under the trend line, definitely. If you really want to get some breathing room, I would say underneath that low, because this was one big cup and handle breakout. So if you put it underneath that handle, that would put you at about a 1250 stop loss, approximate entries right around 1335. That's gonna be about 85 cents of risk. So call it $1 of risk on NKTX. Now, can you get $2 of reward? Well, it would have to go from 1335 to 1535, and that's realistic. So an initial plan that we're building is if we come down to that 1335 and hold a support, and we stay above that trend line, and we're looking to go long back up to high a day, right? We can get away with $1 stop on this trade. Right, that's the maximum stop you want to take is $1, and you can get about 2 to 250 to the upside as far as reward. So you do have a nice 2-to-1 setup, right? You have potential to get 2 times reward compared to your risk, but it has to be a really good setup. So we're just kind of sitting back waiting with NKTX at this point in time. And if you don't want to risk $1, you don't have to risk $1. Build your own plan. But what I would say is a very realistic plan is build a plan around risking $1 to make approximately 2 to 250. So what does that mean? If you're like, Josh, I only want to lose like $500 on the trade. Can you take 1,000 shares? You can, but your stop loss is 50 cents. So if you're like, you know what? I need to let it breathe that $1. What do? You lower your position sizing down to 500 shares. So if you do take a stop loss, that's a $500 loss. That's what you're willing to lose. So make sure you have those plans built, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, guys. Don't judge my hair. Don't judge it. I'm getting a haircut today, guys. One tall, cool one. Already locking in some profits today here in pre-market, it looks like. Nice little $42 profit. Way to go. Coming on in strong, making it happen. Good stuff. Again, I have no fresh trades right now at this point in time, right? As of 9:30, I have no position on the table. I'm sitting back on my hands. We talked about this on Friday, right? I'm working back into just that discipline and consistency and just making it happen in the market, right? Been a little 50-50 lately, so I'm taking a step back so I can take that next step forward. So it's not all about just trading a stock because it's moving or scalping this move or scalping that move, really looking for those A-plus opportunities. It only takes one great trade to make it happen. And Friday was a killer trade on the SPY, right? Where did I end up getting this? 434.50 was my entry and had a target all the way down at 430. We hit that and exceeded that level down to 426. So again, if you're just patient, you can get a really good trade, right? That trade on the SPY was at like 10:15, right? 45 minutes in before I even got a trade on the SPY. So sit back, be patient. It takes one great trade to make it happen. And right now, I'm not really seeing that one great trade that's going to make our day, possibly make our week. And that's what it's all about. Where's that one amazing setup? So right now, ERYP, okay, we had a couple different things that we could look at. We had the downtrend that we broke that we were talking about, and we were retesting it as support. Old resistance turns into new support. So if you grab that entry up to that 204 level, good job, congratulations. But if you missed that potential trade, not an A-plus trade, but decent, right? We are starting to break that 2 to 204. So if we are not in this and we're looking for an entry, you need to see the stock pull back. The stock just went from 180 to 210 without pulling back. We know that we are going to see profit taking. There are going to be traders locking in profits, which is going to cause the stock to pull back. Where could we see the pullback to? Well, right now, right around 195 or 204, because 204 was a key level of resistance, right? So if we break 204 clean and strong and then see the pullback in the 204, that could be our pullback level to get long. But right now, it would be 195 is the best level to see ERYP stay above. So if you're taking an entry at 195, for example, where's your stop loss going to be? I'd give it about 10 to 15 cents. What's your potential to the upside? Back to 250. So you can get about 50 cents to the upside, and you can risk about 15 cents, 20 cents at most here on ERYP just to give it some breathing room. But again, you're wanting to see a better pullback here. A clean, healthy, consistent pullback. Maybe 2 to 3 candles to the downside, decreasing volume into that prior level of resistance to hold as new support. That would be fantastic. But we are fighting to stay above 204 right now on ERYP. Is RDBX set up for a mid-candle breakout? I kind of see what you're saying, right? You know, the textbook criteria for a mid-candle is one big green day, small red day on day 2, and then the third day is the breakout day. So we don't really see that big old green day. That first big substantial green day, we really don't see that on RDBX. It's actually over the course of 2 days. So we see 2 days to the upside, and we do have that gap down that is falling right in the middle of those 2 days. And we are starting to see RDBX pop on up a little bit. So I mean, I guess you can kind of see the mid-candle breakout. You have the right idea, but for like an A+, like textbook mid-candle breakout, you want to see that big green day, 1 day, huge green day, then get your gap down on day 2, and then the day 3 is when you see that rip. But I can see what you're seeing here an RDBX. So over 330, right? That's going to be that break over Friday's high. Over 330, that's where I would expect to see a lot of volume move on in, pushing this up towards around Thursday's high of 384. So right now that we actually broke and, you know, held that one candle, right? Nice little hold above that 204. That's your level of support on ERYP. So you would actually risk under $2, right? So if you guys like this trade, you like the potential, you guys are long, if you're thinking about getting long, whatever you guys are planning on doing here, right? You're making your own plans, you're doing your due diligence, you're getting prepared. I'm just here to state the obvious. What do we see? What do we have? Breaking down our levels, doing the due diligence, right? Is this a great setup? Is it an okay setup? Just to help validate what you guys are thinking. But right now at this point in time, we are starting to drop below that 204, and your next best level of support here would be 195 if we cannot stay above 204. We're still looking for NKTX to come back down just a smidge lower, ideally into this trend line or prior resistance of 1330. ARDX is not doing anything right now at this point in time. We do have that 98-cent level of support, so maybe it bounces off 98 cents, but again, right now, nothing too crazy going on there. SBFM, not a lot. CENN, not a lot. RDBX is a good trade, guys. Look for the break in the hold over 330. That break over 330 is where I would expect to see this thing really start ramping on up a bit. And as long as we stay above 330 once we break, your target is 384. So you can grab about 50 cents to the upside, and you could probably get away with about 10 to 15 cents of risk at most if you break and hold 330. So right now, team, I'm just sitting on my hands, you know, just kind of looking at these stocks and just kind of cycling through them little by little. I don't suggest you guys do that. Find the stock that you like, find the stock that you're confident with, right? And just get to know the stock, get prepared, do your due diligence. I'm just kind of cycling through to see if anything stands out to me that needs to be discussed or hit on. But right now, the only two stocks that we really have are going to be ERYP above that 204 level, room back to 250, and then we have RDBX. If this stock can ever break and hold 330, that could be a good time to get involved with RDBX for that potential move up to 384. So right now, as the market's kind of a little bit on the slower side, right? Market's a little on the slower side. We have some stocks opening, making some quick moves. Now we're kind of consolidating, right? ARDX, quick move. Now we're just kind of sitting sideways. CANG, creeping up on little to no volume. SBFM, again, quick spike on up, pulling back at this point in time. CENN, spike up, pulling back. QNRX, a little bit of a spike, starting to drop on down. RDBX is still looking as if we could break and hold that 330, so that's on watch. And then ERYP is the only stock that's actually holding its gains above that 204 level. So right now, you put your stops under 2, ideally, or 195. If you can risk below 195, that's a good stop, or under $2. But right now, we're losing a lot of volume. We can see it. We're losing that volume. We're just kind of losing that momentum, I guess. It's just it's slowing down a little bit. Nice big rip up to like 212, 213. And now we kind of just see it struggling, and it's losing that steam. It's losing that momentum. But if you are long on this, okay, you would want to like no lower than like a 190 stop, right? Underneath that 195. Or if you want to play it a little bit safer, you do risk getting prematurely stopped out. But if you want to play it nice and tight, if you're already long on this, underneath these two pullbacks, right at $2. And just the way we're kind of arching right now, you kind of see that little arch on ERYP, right? That little rainbow, it's just kind of like arching and rolling over. I don't want to touch it right now at this point in time. I want to see those stocks that are hitting those levels of support and giving us those U-shapes, right? Those nice U-shapes. That's where we're starting to pick up that momentum, and that's when we can see that volume move in for a nice big move on up. When we start to see that rainbow, that arch, right? It looks like it's rolling over. Those are those stocks that we don't really want to get involved with. Those are those points in times when we start, selling on off a bit. Is SBFM a good buy at or around $4? SBFM. You know, it's not bad here, right? It's a simple buy off support, sell at resistance, right? You only have one reason to really be a buyer here. And it's simply because you have, well, you got a couple, right? You have pre-market resistance at 408, turned into support, turning into support, okay? So you have that, old resistance, new support. You have $4 psychological support. So that's reason number two. And then you do have the 20 EMA at $3.99. So you do have three separate levels of support right around $3.99 to $4.08. So if you can risk below $4, like a $3.95 stop loss, right? You could risk about 25 cents a share. Can you get 50 cents? Absolutely. You have room back up to $4.80. But just know, like when we really think about like strategies, like setups, is this a strategy? Wouldn't really say it's a strategy like the boom, boom, bang, or a bull flag, or, you know, cup and handle breakouts, right? We really don't see like that crystal clear, high probability setup or strategy. But stocks do like to bounce off support and move back to resistance. That could be the trader you are. You like just buying stocks at support and selling at resistance, and you're okay with that, and you have success doing that, then yeah, SBFM could be a simple buy off support, three valid levels of support right around 4, and your level of resistance is that 200-day moving average of 483. But when we really break this down, is like, is there a strategy that has like 80% odds in our favor? Unfortunately, we can't say that there's that crystal clear A+ strategy that really suggests this stock is going to move in our favor. Now, if the RSI was bottoming out and we saw some divergence, or if we throw this on a 5-minute time frame and we saw like a 5-minute doji formation, you know, if we had more to go off of, we could start increasing our odds on this trade. But right now, all we really have is that level of support right around that $4 level. Nice, more profits. Trading Hunter, 53 bucks. Nice, good job, team. I'm still sitting back. And we see the Qs really struggling off Friday's close. So right now, the Qs, guys, if you're looking for a short, you'd want to short this as long as it's getting rejected off that 325.40. So you would put stops over that level, like 326 stops. Now, where could you see this come down to? I would say 318, 318.23. They're on the Qs. The SPY support is that 420. 69, that comes from the daily chart, but you could see that pre-market low hold a support, 421.17. You can throw a nice little downtrend here on the SPY from pre-market, that high in pre-market. You have a downtrend, you have a downtrend. So you still play the SPY short as long as it's underneath the downtrend. The second we break the downtrend on a higher low, right? If we see a higher low form on the SPY and we break the downtrend, you would not want to think short. You'd want to think long back to 426, because that would be a reversal with a break of the downtrend, and that would bring in some action, possibly pushing this back into Friday's close of 426 here on the SPY. And I'm not really liking too much, right? I don't like that rollover look on ERYP. It just doesn't look visually appealing to me. NKTX, I'm still not liking this, as we still have some room to fall down a little bit, and we're just kind of fading, right? We're just sitting sideways, more or less fading to the downside. ARDX, I mean, it's at 98-cent support. Maybe it bounces, but again, there's not enough reasons here to be a buyer. Now you got CANG with a big pop in volume. And this was the stock that authorized a 50 million share repurchase program. We already discussed SBFM. CEN is the stock that has earnings tonight. It's in one big channel. You have bottom channel support at 182. Top channel resistance at 206. So that's really all we have with CENN. QNRX just doesn't look appealing whatsoever at this point in time. I mean, really the only thing you could do is run a downtrend on this stock, right? And if we ever break the downtrend with volume, there's some opportunity, but like Chris just said, I'm not really liking anything at the moment. I mean, nothing's standing out to me screaming, buy me, for me anyway. But again, I'm breaking down everything for you guys. If you're looking at one of these stocks, trying to break it down, give you an idea of what we have in store, what could take place. Hopefully that revalidates your thesis if you're looking at a trade, or maybe it allows you to see something that you previously missed, which may allow you to take a better trade or to stay away from a potentially bad trade. RDBX, there's no reason to touch this at resistance. QNRX, I mean, we're fading. It's in a nice little downtrend. The only thing you'd want to do is continue to short a stock like QNRX. CENN, nothing. SBFM, we already discussed it. CANG, quick little rip on up, dumped on right back down. ARDX is trying to get some volume, and it's trying to bounce here around that 98-cent level. So, I mean, it's worth watching ARDX at this point in time. See if we can get a nice little reversal off 98. Maybe we can start building some momentum back to the upside. And look at that. That's why we do not want to be in these stocks. Why was I not touching this? Yes, we were over support. Right? I really want to break this down. A lot of traders are like, why were you not trading the stock, Josh? It broke and held 3-4 times, right? And it stayed above 204. That shows strength, right? Well, yeah, of course, right? The stock broke resistance and held it, ripped up in a new high day, held it, quick new high day, held it. Most traders see this stock is holding support. I want to be a buyer. But what do I notice? I notice that the stock is kind of rolling over. It has that arch, that rainbow, right? We can see that little rainbow effect. And that's a sign that the stock is getting ready to pull back and dump. So even though we were above that level of support, why did I not take that trade? Because I'm looking at the price. I'm looking at the price action. I'm looking at what the chart's telling me. And the chart's telling me I want to move lower. It looks as if we are going to pull back and dump a little bit because it has that little rainbow. It's the same thing with those U-shapes. When you see a stock, U-shaping, and it's building that positive momentum, that bullish momentum, and then boom, it breaks to the upside. Same thing when the stock is arching. It's building that selling momentum up a little bit for those little cracks to the downside. So that's one of the main reasons I wasn't willing to touch ERYP, was it was looking as if we were going to start rolling over, and it played on out. But right now with pennies, I mean, there's not really too much going on at this point in time. It's unfortunate, but not a whole lot happening right now, guys. And trust me, I want to trade. I want to lock in some profits. I want to make it happen. But the last thing I want to do is take a bad trade, right? Get caught up in something like that, which is just, you can avoid that altogether. So make sure we're not missing anything. SKYH was a random mover. SKYH was a random mover last week. Started on Thursday, popped up a little bit Friday, started moving again. And right now, SKYH is that micro float stock, right? It's 500,000 in float. And it's just been building on up over the past couple of days here. Ended up coming down into that 523-ish level. We saw an initial bounce on Thursday. And then we had momentum kick in Friday, and we're starting to break again today. So where is our level of support? I would say right around Friday's close and Friday's high a day. Look at all that resistance from Friday on SKYH. We just broke above that level of resistance. So very strong resistance, probably turning into very strong support right around 819 on SKYH. So let's definitely keep this one on watch here. We have potential to see 916. And then we have potential to see $10 on SKYH. So right now, the only stock that looks appealing is SKYH. So above that 819 level, it's not a bad level to get involved. If we get a nice little pullback to that 819, we have room to 916 and 10. This is a very, very low float stock. We know the stock could really take on off. There's the SPYs cracking below that 420.69 level now, guys. So let's just shift our attention to the SPY. As long as we're below that downtrend, it's a good short. And what did we see Thursday and Friday? The SPY would crack a level of support, retest it, and then fall, right? Find support, bounce into prior resistance, retest it, and then fall. And we saw that trend develop over and over and over. So right now with the SPY, let's keep this one on watch. I'm actually going to pull that level up to those pre-market lows. So 421.18 for the retest. We crack below that level. We pop back up to 421.18 and retest as resistance. We could absolutely look to go short here. And if you guys are like, I don't like options, Josh, what can I do? I'm not the options guy. You can look to trade UVXY to the long side. RDBX got in at 290. What are your thoughts if you don't mind? If you're not breaking above 330 and seeing volume move in above 330, you're probably going to see it come back down into that 290 level, right? But right now, what you want to see with RDBX, Kamal, is the break and the hold over 330. If you get a strong break and hold over 330, your target where you really should consider locking in some profits would be up towards around 384. And if you're holding a little bit as a runner, you could see $5 on RDBX. But you're spotting it. It has that little rainbow look to it. So if it does start dumping and rolling over, I would take some profits off the table and go risk-free. But if you still think there's potential for a break and a hold and a rebound off 330, you would have that $3.84 to $4 target and then potentially $5. Right now, though, the SPY at this point in time, this is where some focus should be. Right now, here on the SPY, guys, if you like options, you like some options, if you like trading that UVXY, all right, we have some great potential here, right? We had that pop back up, not quite a perfect retest, but it did bounce on back up a little bit, and we are making that new low a day. So right now, I think our focus should be here on the SPY, as the SPY has room to 415.79, right? That's literally a 4-point drop here on the SPY, right? So if you're looking at a potential target of 416 to the short side, you can come in here, grab yourself a 416 put, right? It's got a 23 delta, right? So decent delta. The volume's over there, the open interest. I mean, you could actually go with a 415, right? The 415, a little bit less expensive, better volume, higher open interest. It really doesn't matter though. 416, 415, you could definitely manage your trade correctly with a nice little 20 or 23 delta here. And that would be your target. And so if the SPY ever breaks and holds back above 421.18, that's where I'd be getting out of those contracts, right? So right now, you could say about $1 of risk. So for every contract you buy, you'd be risking the delta. So about $20 per contract would be your risk if you're risking $1 on the chart. Your target is $4 to the downside. So the delta times 4, that'd be about $80 per contract that you could potentially make here on the SPY. That's over 100%. So you're risking about $20 a contract to potentially make $80 or more per contract if we do indeed see that dump down to that 415.79 with a nice tight stop right back above that 421.18. If you see it break and hold that level, you'd want to go ahead and get out. So right now, we had that nice little pop there through the downtrend in KTX. But right now, it's pulling back pretty good. right? Nice little pop and then just straight back down, literally giving all of those gains back here. So I'm not like overly confident with penny stocks right now. You see a nice little pop there. That was a decent little opportunity for a scalp, but then it's just right back down. ARDX is falling, right? CANG doing nothing. SBFM struggling. CENN not a lot. QNRX still dumping on off. RDBX just broke above that 330. So if we pull back and it's a nice break and retest and you're looking to go long on RDBX, you can go long up to 384. And I would say place your stops like 320, 319 to 320 on RDBX. And then SKYH, big rip on up, pulling back. And we are trying to hold above Friday's resistance of 819 here on SKYH. So, I mean, if we do see this quick little double bottom form and a break back above 840, you can take that trade back up to 890 and then up towards around 916. So these are the top two stocks, right? Top two stocks would be SKYH above 819 support, back up to 890, 916, and then $10. Stops, I would put them underneath 8. RDBX, same thing. Breaking and holding 330 would be a great entry for the leg up to 384. But you need to actually wait to see if it's going to hold and stay above 330. And I'm just waiting on the SPY here. I think I'm going to place a lot of my focus on the SPY. And that means I could go long UVXY, right? I could physically short the SPY, which probably not. Probably go long UVXY. Or you could look to trade those options, guys. Again, I would probably go with a 415 put. They're cheap. A good enough delta to really allow you to manage your risk. You can build a position, one contract, 2, 3, scale in, scale out if you wish. But right now, we're just looking to see if the SPY is really going to stay below that 421.18. And if so, I am definitely interested in a possible short here on the SPY.